Remember when the whole world lost their minds?
Coronavirus.
Coronavirus.
There are fears a rapidly spreading virus has reached Australia.
We wore masks, we stayed inside.
And I shook hands with everybody.
We will be suspending all travel from Europe.
We were trying to figure out if the vaccine is legit or not.
For many, young and old, 2020 will be the toughest year of our lives.
During that time, something huge was also happening.
One measure being widely employed is banning the use of cash.
So, the pandemic ended. Life got back to normal. They were still pushing the cashless agenda, but who are they? They make billions of dollars. They've been around for decades. They operate in more than 200 countries and service over 130 million locations. By now, they are household names. They are Visa and MasterCard.
Thank you, Grandpa. How do I look?
It's terrific.
So you are the global powerhouse of payments processing. You've built sort of a monopoly even. There's maybe 2 or 3 other competitors, and every day you process close to 1 billion transactions across the globe. Life is great, boring, and predictable even. But suddenly, the whole world freezes. Borders close, people take shelter in their homes, and travel stops. At first, the pandemic catches you off guard. Travel is a key source of your income. For a moment, you even worry. What happens to your vast network when airports and hotels and malls are empty? For the first time in a long time, business is actually bad. But then, something remarkable happens. People start to adapt. Lockdowns force everyone to shop online like never before. Groceries, clothes, even pet food, they all go through your networks. Thousands of people make their online shops. E-commerce booms, and you're the one processing every single transaction. You watch your transaction volumes double, even triple. Yet, there's more. People no longer want to touch bills and coins, fearing they might carry the virus. A third of small businesses decide to stop accepting cash altogether. Suddenly, tap to pay is no longer just convenient, it's essential. You watch as millions of consumers try contactless payments for the first time. It's not just in high-tech cities anymore. It's happening everywhere, from suburban grocery stores to bustling markets in emerging economies. In places where cash was once king, you form partnerships with local banks and you open the doors for digital payments. The momentum builds. Subscriptions for services like Netflix skyrocket. And those recurring payments flow seamlessly through your systems. Even as challenges remain, you realize this isn't just a temporary shift. The world is changing, and you're leading the way. By the end of the pandemic's first wave, you can see a 10% increase in net revenues, reaching $6.1 billion for a single quarter. So by the end of it, you have turned a crisis into an opportunity, forever reshaping the way the world pays. But it wasn't always that simple. When Visa first opened up for business, the economy was running on cash and checks. Visa entered the market with a credit card called Bank Americard. They partnered with Bank of America. And the program launched in 1958 in Fresno, California. Back then, about 80% of transactions were physical cash and the other 20% were checks. Remember checks? Now fast forward to 2025, and Visa and MasterCard process approximately 90% of all transactions in the world outside of China. But even in China, it's the same thing. They have their own companies, Alipay and WeChat Pay, both of which handle 90% of Chinese payments. So what does all this have to do with cash disappearing? Remember how 60 years ago, all payments were either cash or check. Well, as of January 2025, less than 10% of all transactions are cash or checks. And this data doesn't even include cryptocurrencies. So if it's not cash, checks, or even crypto, what is it? It's a lot of fancy terms like automated clearinghouse transfers or online payment gateways. But basically, most of them fall down into 2 categories: card payments and wire transfers. Crypto is also gaining traction, but it's still nowhere near where some people want it to be. For some context, Visa processed about 640 million transactions per day in 2024. That is only Visa card transactions. And during that same year, there were about 500,000 Bitcoin transactions per day. Or in other words, the daily transaction volume of Visa is 1,280 times larger than Bitcoin's daily transaction volume. Then what's all the hype about using crypto for payments? Cryptocurrencies and payment processing companies like Visa work in similar ways. They both use computers to handle and check transactions, with programs written in languages like C++, Python, and Java to make sure everything runs fast and safe. They both use powerful machines to process a lot of data. The big difference is that Visa is centralized, meaning one company controls everything, while Bitcoin is decentralized, meaning no single person or company is in charge. Instead, Bitcoin uses a system called a blockchain, where computers all over the world work together to agree on transactions, making it open for everyone to see and harder for anyone to control. So because crypto is decentralized, your money can't suddenly be frozen or just disappear. But if you think that the central banks will allow that to happen, you're living in a la la land. And that's where physical cash comes in. We all appreciate how digital money just makes everything so much faster and easier and way more secure. But still, most of us don't want cash to completely disappear, right? Unlike cards or apps, it gives you privacy since it doesn't leave a record of what you spend. Cash also helps people who don't have access to banks or the internet, like the elderly or those in rural areas. Cash allows them to buy and sell. And when there are power outages or cyber attacks and digital payments might not work, physical cash is a reliable backup. So even in a world with more and more digital payments, it's still important to keep some cash around for emergencies. But even if cash completely disappears in the future, the cryptocurrencies will take its place. They are a lot like physical cash because they give people privacy, freedom, and control over their money without needing a bank or middleman. Just like you can hand cash to someone directly, you can send crypto to anyone without asking permission from a government or company. If physical cash disappears and we only have centralized digital currencies controlled by governments, crypto will most likely take its place. Because we will always need to make private transactions and keep some of our money away from control. In this way, cryptocurrencies could become the digital version of cash, giving people the same freedom they had with physical money. But while cash is disappearing, they are also trying to get rid of the cryptocurrencies. The banks can't have decentralized money flowing around in the economy and have proposed their own versions of centralized digital currencies. If you want to find out more, watch this video on how they are trying to end Bitcoin. Thanks for watching, guys, and stay informed.